Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. I was going to take the human interest story. So the Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Court on Tuesday convicted and sentenced David Charles to 8 years imprisonment for assault and indecent treatment of a 10-year-old girl. The case had started, I think, back in 2021 and had a conclusion this year, that's 2024. So according to the reports, he was, the prosecution said that this man, on April 2017, indecently treated a 10-year-old girl by touching her lap with his manhood and exposing her to pornography. According to the prosecution, the offences committed contravene sections 135 and 170 and punishable under section 172 of the criminal law of Lagos State. So he's been sentenced to 8 years. And I'm happy that we were able to have this to a logical conclusion, because many always think that when things happen, it's swept under the carpet. But I'm happy that in this case, that this man got a conviction and he's gone to 8 years for it.
It was followed through. Yes. So the major headline, the federal government may be spending about 236 billion naira monthly to subsidize the premium motor spirits known as petrol that is imported through the NNPCL and the one that's also off-taken from the Dangote Petroleum Refinery. So on Monday, the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, called on the federal government to end fuel subsidies completely. He said the removal will help determine the actual petrol consumption in the country, as his position received backing from the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria and the Center for Promotion of Public Enterprise on Tuesday. So he said that Major Energies Marketers Association of Nigeria had lifted over 50 million liters PMS from Dangote Refinery in the past week. Now, based on revelations by the major oil marketers on the cost of Dangote petrol sold to them by NNPC, the price at which NNPC got the product from Dangote, they said the product was being subsidized by the government through the national oil firm. So they had stated that the product was sold to them by NNPC at 766 to a liter, whereas NNPC had earlier said they got the commodity from Dangote Refinery at 898 naira per liter. So which means that the commodity has been subsidized by 132 naira to a liter, yes, to the marketers. So they are saying now that the government would be spending, that's NNPC will be shouldering a subsidy of about 3.3 billion naira daily. And in 30 days, it will get up to 99 billion to subsidize Dangote's petroleum to the consumers.
That's for the imported one. Right?
No, from the one they're getting from Dangote.
And you know, right now he's refining the imported crude.
Yes, he's refining.
We're starting the ones in Nigeria.
So yes, whether it's the imported crude or the normal crude, they are buying it at 898, and NNPC is selling to them at 700 and something. The 100 on top is being subsidized by government, meaning that subsidy is back.
Okay, we'll get the clarity on that.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming that this is because of the ones he imported.
Yeah.
The ones he bought in naira
may not be up to that price.
So let us just wait and see and get
what will happen.
Give us a clearer picture on this. But let's go on.
Yeah. So federal government has started the process of the 2025 budget, and the federal government has urged all the ministries, departments, and agencies to focus on projects with economic priorities in the current administration. They are asking that it should also be put into only line items alone. He said the quality of the national budget has been a long-standing concern for majority of people. And he also mentioned that they now did a training, and the training is to break down how the budget for 2025 would go. And he has made the comment against the backdrop of the complaints and the displeasure registered by several Nigerians on the reckless insertion of unaccountable projects outside primary mandate of the government. If you study our budget, you will know that there is no way we are going to deliver good governance, because some products, some items you would see, the price you see in front of it is not enough to do the project. So obviously that price will not go to the project. And some projects are just not necessary. We just keep carrying, they keep carrying over projects over and over again and putting amounts in front of it. So I'm happy there's a training that was conducted to plan for the 2025 project. And I hope that a communique will be sent out to everybody that is going to be sending off materials to the project, that these are the only things we are focusing on as a country, so that those are the things that we'll be spending more money on aside recurrent.
Okay, so I have the federal government through the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission has stated that the payment of the new minimum wage will commence from July 2024. The commission stated that this was because that was the date that the president approved the bill after it was passed at the National Assembly. They also, it's also contrary to what the Minister of State for Labour, Nkiru Onyejocha, had said that the payment would commence from May 1st. But it also means that the government will only have to pay 2 months on arrears. That's if they start paying by the end of October. And this was announced at the approval of the revision of the Consolidated Public Service Salary Structure and other salary structures. So yes, they'll start paying, and then they will pay the 2 months arrears if they start paying by ending of October. I think that's a good one. Let's see how that works.
Okay, we know now to Vanguard. Unemployment up by 5.3% as CBN hikes interest rate to 27.25. Excuse me. Tinubu rejects bill seeking to raise retirement age of the National Assembly staff. 2 million security personnel can't protect over 200 million Nigerians, says Chief of Army Staff. FG welcomes Ombudsman ruling over Daily Trust inaccurate report on Samoa agreement. Deny ties with the banditry by swearing on Quran. Matawali challenges Zamfara Governor, General Guzau. Reaction trio Dangote's call for petrol subsidy removal. Why I can't buy Arsenal again, says Dangote. And inflation, others have tested the society's fabric, says Senate President. Okay, which story?
So I took the Chief of Army Staff, General Tarid Lagbaja, yesterday, said it's unrealistic for 2 million security personnel to protect a population of over 200 million Nigerians. He made this remark during the 2024 Distinguished Personality Lecture in Ilorin, Kwara State. And he said that he was represented by the Chief of Army Training, Sani Mohammed, and highlighted the military's heavy reliance on imported defense equipment due to the country's weak industrial base. So he expressed concerns over the inadequate funding of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, AFN, which he said significantly affecting the military's operational performance. He said in a country of over 200 million people, it's unrealistic to expect security agencies totaling around 2 million, including an army of just over 100,000 active personnel, without a reserve force to secure the entire population. He says, we import over 90% of our military needs, noting that despite some local production efforts, the country's dependence on foreign military supplies remains overwhelming. And we also understand how we use our forex to be able to import some of these equipment. So he says the pursuit of national development alongside national security is a costly endeavor as defense policy is capital intensive. I went ahead to give the history of how it has started. So I think the bottom line is the fact that we need to do more in terms of arms manufacturing in our country. That also, yes, we have boys that do these things now. We catch them, we throw them away.
Not at the level of AK-47.
No, it starts from somewhere. We cannot just be overreaching. We never reach that level. Now that local one that they use enter house, shoot person, the person die. So what are you looking for?
That's what it takes to work.
Leave war first. Leave war first. We need to start. How many war we don't go?
Arms and everything together.
I'm just saying that. Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay, so yes, so the President Bola Tinubu has rejected a bill seeking to raise the retirement age of civil servants working in the National Assembly. As we can recall, this bill was thrown out by the Senate after protracted debate in February. But the same Senate has done a U-turn now and they've brought it back. And the bill is in line, is seeking to increase the retirement age to 65 years or 40 years of service, whichever comes first. And the existing law already says that retirement is 60 years or 35 years of service, or 35 years, yes, of service for retirement. Tinubu, the president, while telling them that he's not going to give assent to this bill, also commended them for drafting the bill, their diligent work and the process of them drafting and passing the bill. But he also prayed that they will receive this his decision with love and understanding.
So the President yesterday, during his welcome address at the plenary, was saying that rising economic pressures, high inflation rate, and soaring living costs were eroding the very fabric of our society as Nigerians grapple with the consequences. And he urged his colleagues to particularly ensure that every citizen walk down without fear, and they should just make laws to help better the lives of their citizens. So they resumed plenary yesterday, and he was just giving a goodwill message to his colleagues, asking that they must double up their efforts to ensure people get the law that would help them live better lives.
So drama happened in the court yesterday for the Nnamdi Kanu's drama. And the drama involved the fact that the Nnamdi Kanu like when they say shout out, he outshouted his own lawyer to say that the judge should recuse. Is it?
Recuse.
Yeah, she should step down.
Step down.
That he doesn't
herself.
trust in the court. He doesn't believe in the court process. That the court has refused to abide by the ruling of the Supreme Court concerning him. And it was in a really dramatic shouting experience, so much that the judge, Justice Binta Nyako, had to say, I'll step down. I will pass on this case to the chief judge of the court for reassignment to another judge. And his main case was that there was the DSS has refused to obey a court order by the Supreme Court, which is regrettable. And his own lawyer was not in support of this entire drama and was speaking against it, but he was shouting down his own lawyer and shouting to the judge to say that you must step down, I don't trust the court. And so right now, she has stepped down. Okay. So they will assign another judge to it.
They may have to start the case almost all over again.
Yeah. But you can understand it. But you can also understand his frustration. Yes. You know, because like this country, we have the judiciary, and we're supposed to abide by the rulings. If not, what precedents are we setting as a country? You know, because after this, some other thing might happen. So many other things will happen.
God forbid that we will go to court.
Also, there's always something called national interest. So really, you're right. The court should obey the ruling, but national interest can supersede certain things. Where if it's going to be a detriment to our national collective interest, so this is debatable. Yeah. So you are right on one end, the people on the other side are also right. So we have to just find a middle ground so that we find peace. But there are two sides of that story. Let me see how many minutes we're running out of time. That's all we can take on today's newspaper review. When we come back, it's a day for guests. First, bringing our first guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.